Hello and welcome to my Sprint 2 video for Game 377. This is all the stuff for my ABBs. I have all of these um, static math functions that help me with the intersections that are keeping my math code reusable and small. So I'm trying to have these functions be as small as possible so I can reuse all of the math. In the visualizer, we have one cube and one sphere. Um, we have a render for each of those, which goes with the show. I believe calls the private renders, or the this has to do with the command pattern where the show ABB creates the command, yeah, and then the command itself calls the render. I didn't pull it up, but where is the command? There we are. So here, instead of show B sphere, we have show collision volume, which shows the debug view of the object's collidable volume. And then we'll move on to the double dispatch. So here are the test results. We have the intersect of two collidable volumes. And when we jump into that, I guess we'll need the CPP. Intersect of two collidables. We get their collidable volumes, and then we do the first dispatch, calling the intersect accept on the other one. That in turn, we jump to the B sphere, calls the intersect visit on the appropriate collidable volume. Its type has already been determined. And then that performs the correct intersection testing. We have the same thing for the ABB. So let's jump into it. I actually don't want to show the games. Let's do this. I think this is right. Glad it's taking so long to compile. I should have done this before I started recording. Here we are. So what we have here is an AABB around this axis, and a B-sphere around the frigate, and when they come close, they collide. It's beautiful. Sensational. And I can also very quickly demonstrate here in the frigate. Where is it? It's not update. Where's my set collider volume? That is not what I wanted at all. This is frustrating. Oh, this one doesn't have it because that's so dumb, because it's the default. B-sphere is the default, and all I have to do is before I call update collision data, I have to call set collision vision. Let's just go get it from Axis. Set call volume. And now when we go back in, now we have two ABBs. AABBs. And as we rotate this one, we see that the axes remain aligned, and the AABB scales according to the model. These are not colliding, right? They are on the verge of colliding. So great. I'm sorry. So the things that I'm working on for my game. This is not the right document. The right one is right here. So the things that I'm going to work on most, a lot of these things, I could separate this list into two main categories. We have game mechanics, and we have these environment things. The environment aspects of the final game that I want are going to be done in tandem with um, the research project I'm doing with the DX port, and then these up here, the more game mechanics things, and this level system are going to be what I work on in the near future. And I've been working on them a little bit this week. I've already kept you for a long time. I've already implemented, I've fixed some AI issues. I've added more than one levels. I'm working on the level switching. I'm setting up the mechanisms for that. But that's the setup for the game. And then finally, this is kind of lame. This is the beginning of the outline of the things I'm going to do for my DX port. Most of the research I did this week was to see if I could feasibly port to DirectX 12. And so I went in depth looking at the initialization for that, the rendering process, all of that stuff. And I determined that it is too different from DX11 to be worth my time this quarter. There's for DX12 you have to be a lot more in charge of the memory. You have to use fences to make sure that you don't overwrite GPU data. They've gotten rid of a lot of things like um, the resource, not the resources, but a lot of the handles that we use for buffers and textures. They've been replaced with just the ID3D12 resource. And so going into all the different parts of that and just revamping the whole system would just take too much time out of what is already going to be a busy quarter for me, especially now that I'm a little bit behind. But I'm going to go back into research for DirectX 11 this week, and the main thing that I'm going to be doing early on is I'm going to be revamping the graphics objects so that they completely take care of their rendering needs, so that the user is completely separated from DirectX 11. I don't want them to even know that they're using it. So that is my Sprint 2 video, and I should see you on Tuesday. Thank you so much.